I like to give all glory and praises unto the Most High, and we're gonna get into it, man. And I did a video about a day ago, and there was I had a clip in there of like Yash Kara, and he was talking about, you know, for those of you that watched it, and he was talking about what good is the all your money and your millions and your billions, if the universe don't respect you, man. You know, what good is all your money, you know, if you're not protected when tribulation come upon the earth. You know, the universe don't respect you. And he was saying, you got all this money and cars and Bugattis and all these women are flocking to you and this, that, and the third. But the universe don't respect you. The Most High, he didn't put that respect of the universe on you, man. You know what I mean? The elements don't respect you. So, right now, what we're gonna get into right now is I'm gonna show you, of instances in the Bible, where men of the Lord, his servants, they have, the Most High, he commanded the universe to show reverence to them. They have power over the elements. The animals show reverence and respect onto them. And that's how it's gonna be. You know what I mean? These whales are gonna show reverence to us. You know what I mean? Tigers, birds, insects. All type of strange animals is gonna show reverence onto us in that day, man. Because the Most High is gonna bestow it upon his servants. You know what I mean? Or these guys that sold out for this, that, and the third, all this money and stuff, that it's not gonna mean nothing in the day of wrath, man. And you're gonna see that. So we're gonna get into it, man. And if you want to know what this here, it's not an owl, it's actually an eagle. It's a scary looking bird right here, man. You know what I mean? But we're gonna get into it real quick, man. And we're gonna start with Noah. You know what I mean? When Noah took all those animals into the ark, man. He didn't go out there and, go fetch a lion, go fetch an elephant, go fetch a giraffe. Nah, the Most High the Most High Spirit guided those animals into the ark, man. And when Noah was in that ark, he had reverence. The animals had reverence onto him. You know what I mean? That they wasn't gonna bite him and things like that. So let's get into it, man. We're gonna look. We're gonna start off small and build. So Genesis chapter 8. And it came to pass at the end of the 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Also he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot. And she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her in unto him into the ark. You see that? And he stayed yet another 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out the ark. And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So no one knew the waters were abated from off the earth. So you see that right here? This is just a little small example of him using the ravens, to see if the the water was at a level to where he could exit the ark. The animals respected him. They went to and fro and came back to him. Oh man, we're gonna keep going, man. You're gonna see, man. The reverence that the Most High is gonna put on on his creation. On his animals, to reverence us, man. 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 4 through 6. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. You see that? The Most High said, I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. I mean, because he didn't. Elijah probably didn't have no food where he was at. You know, the Most High commanded those birds, man, to feed Elijah. I mean, these animals is gonna show reverence to them, to the servants of the Lord in that day, man. I mean, so you guys have been doing wickedness to them this whole time. You in trouble. Let's keep going. So he went and did according to the word of the Lord, for he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. Look at that. All praises to the Most High to that, man. You mean? Ravens bringing Elijah bread and flesh, food, man, so he could eat. And what's that connect to? Hold up, we're gonna segue into something real quick, right here. Luke 12:29 through 31. And seek not ye what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither be ye doubtful of mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye need of these things. But rather seek the kingdom of Yah, and all these things shall be added unto you, man. You know what I mean? Seek the kingdom first. You see, Elijah didn't have to worry, man. The Most High provided with him through the ravens, man. And let's connect that with another verse. King David, right here, Psalms 37:25. I have been young, and now I am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread, man. Me? Elijah wasn't begging for no bread, because the Most High, he made a way for him, man. I mean, you know, through those animals, man. They show reverence onto his servants in that day. Come on, man. Let's keep going. So this is Elisha, not Elijah, but Elisha. 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 23 through 25. And he went up from thence unto Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city and mocked him, and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head. Go up, thou bald head. See, they teasing him. They teasing the prophet Elisha, man. I mean, and he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood, and tear 42 and 2 children of them. You mean? Oh man. See, so Elisha, you know what I mean, prayed to the Most High, and these animals came out at his defense, man, and ripped them little children up, them little demonic children, man. And people say, oh yeah, that sounds like harsh. It sounds harsh, but I bet you these children was harassing and probably gang stalking him in that day, man. You know what I mean? And it's a funny picture right here. Look at Elisha. You know what I mean? Don't mess with the servants of the Lord, man. Bite they little ass up. You know? That's like how they got a lot of these little demonic kids out here harassing you and enjoying themselves, man. I mean, so when you see judgment come down on these people, kids, hey, they're gonna know not to mess with the servants of the Lord, man. I mean, teasing the prophets of the Lord, man. I bet you they was gang stalking him, man, back in that day. Go up, thou bald head. Go up, thou bald head. All right. I mean, those animals came to his defense because they had reverence and respect onto him. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be doing that to us in that day, man. This is what we trying to tell you. All that's gonna come to a halt. Oh man. Oh man. Y'all don't know, man. Y'all don't know. Y'all sold out for all this money. You know, there's no amount of money could top this right here. You know I mean, the animals in the universe and the elements showing, you know, showing reverence onto you, because the Most High bestowed it on you, upon them to do so. Let's keep going, man. Right here, we're gonna look at Moses. You know, and this was when you know, they was in the wilderness, and you know, the Israelites started crying out because, you know, they started getting, you know, they started getting weary and thirsty and things like that. You know, and so let's read it. Numbers chapter 20, I'll start at verse 8. And the Most High said, this is Most High talking to Moses. He said, take thy rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak. And speak. See, I underlined that. Ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water. Give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and also the beasts. You see that? The rocks listened to him, man, because the Most High deemed it so. But you see right here, the Most High told Moses just to speak to the rock, but Moses smote the rock, and he disobeyed the Most High. And that's why the Most High didn't allow him to go into the promised land with the rest of the children of Israel. You know what I mean? You know, the Most High said, just speak to it. Have that faith and speak to the rock, and the water's gonna come out. But Moses smote it. You know what I mean? And you see right here, verse 12, it says, and the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believe me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given thee. You see? So it's always wise to listen to the Most High, man. You know, the Most High said, speak to the rock. He smote it. You know what I mean? But you see how the elements listen to him? You see? Water coming out the rock. You know what I mean? Ain't no millions and billions could ever top that, man. That serpent beguiled you guys, man. You guys chasing after the wrong thing. Seek the kingdom of the Most High. Let's keep going. So right here, 2 Kings verse 1. And this is talking about Elijah again too. Let's read this real quick. Then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab, and Uzziah fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria, and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, Go inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall recover of this disease. Look at this, man. False god Beelzebub, man. But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite, Arise, go up and meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, It is not because there is not a God. Is it not because there is not a God in Israel that ye go inquire Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? So the angel's telling him, like, hey, why are you going to the Beelzebub for when you could go to the Most High to inquire about your disease? You know what I'm saying? Why are you going to Beelzebub for? You know? Oh man, it's a wicked king, man. Now therefore, thus said the Lord, Thou shalt not come down from that bed which thou art going up, but thou shalt surely die. So the angel of the Lord told Elijah to deliver that message to him, and Elijah departed. You see what it says right there? The angel of the Lord told Elijah, hey, go tell the king that because you want to go and hearken on to Beelzebub, you're not going to recover from your illness. You're going to die. Let's keep going. And when the messengers turned back unto him, he said unto them, Why are ye now turned back? And they said unto him, There came a man up to meet us, and said unto us, Go turn again unto the king that sent you, and say unto him, Thus said the Lord, Is it not because there is not a God in Israel that thou sendest to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art going up, but thou shalt surely die. You know what I mean? So they told him. Elijah told him. And this is the king's. This is right here, number 7. And I'm gonna segue into something else right after I read this. You know what I mean? And the king said unto them, What manner of man was he which came up to meet you and told you these things? You see that? The king was like, What manner of man told you these words? You know what I mean? Because the prophets was bold, man. He said, Elijah said, hey, you're not going to recover from your disease. You're going to die. You're going to be put to death, man. You know what I mean? The king, they ain't never heard nobody speak like that. And that just goes to show you the type of boldness, the prophets had in that day, man. That the king had to say, what manner of man came up to and met you and told you these words? He was in shock. You know? And they answered him, and said he was a hairy man with a with a girdle of a leather about his loins, and he said it was Elijah the Tishbite. You know what I mean? So you see that, man? Bold as a lion, man. They were humble men, but they was bold. And you know, I'm gonna segue into something else real quick, and we're gonna get back into the elements, because I wanted to hit this. So we're gonna look at in the book of 1 Samuel real quick, and you know, in this right here, you know, I'm showing you, you know, how feared and revered, you know, and respected the prophets were. You know what I mean? So right here, this is the prophet Samuel, and Samuel was going into you know, Bethlehem. To he was going to find David. You know what I mean? The new king of Israel. So you see right here, and it says, and Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem. And right here, and it says, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, comest thou peaceably? And he said, peaceably I come. You know what I mean? So you see, like whenever the prophets came, you know, people knew they was coming, like usually with bad news, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They trembled at us coming. They were afraid. They asked him, yo, are you coming in peace? You know what I mean? You know? And that right here, that right there, just goes to show you, you know, when he's saying, yo, what manner of man is speaking like this, man? You know what I mean? Because he never seen nobody speak like that before, man. You know, who told you this word? Ezekiel told us, man. You know what I mean? The elders are afraid of the prophets, man. You coming in peace? I mean, because they knew the Most High was with these men. Let's keep going. So back to 2 Kings with the story of Elijah, you know, and him giving that message to the king, you know. So the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50, and he went up to him, and behold, he sat on top of a mountain hill, and spake unto him, thou man of God, the king hath said, come down. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, if I be a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. What's that? Control over the elements. The elements is listening to him. You know what I mean? You mean the Most High bestowed out in the universe. Let's keep going. And again also he said unto him, another captain of 50 with his 50. And he answered and said unto him, O man of God, thus hath the king said, come down quickly. And Elijah said unto him, if I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of God came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. You see that? You know what I mean? The fire is coming down, obeying him. Heavenly fire burning their asses up, man. You know? Elements obeying him. Let's keep going. And he sent again a captain of the third 50 with his 50. And the third captain of 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah and besought him and said unto him, O man of God, I pray thee, let my life and the life of these 50 thy servants be precious in thy sight. You mean? So you see what happened now? The fire's coming down from heaven and burning their asses up. And what is this right now? They recognize that this is a true man of the Most High, man. They begging, they praying in front of him now. Oh, Elijah, oh, God, spare our lives. Oh, no, oh, God, the fire burning us up. You know what I mean? Spare our life. You mean the house of Ahab and Jezebel ain't show no mercy on them righteous prophets that they killed? Let's keep going. Behold, there came down fire from heaven and burnt up the two captains and the former 50s with their 50s. Therefore, let my life now be precious in thy sight. There you go. Burnt their asses up still. You know what I mean? They came to that moment and realized they came to that moment of clarity. You know what I mean? They kept sending men to him. You know what I mean? And he had command over the elements, man. To burn their asses up, man. Come on, man. You know, what manner of man is this? That's why they, you know what I mean, they like to say they like to silence target individuals and things like that. You know what I mean? Because the prophets was bold and they spoke their mind. I mean, that's why when you speak and they these guys are bold, man. How dare you say things like that? Even though we speak in the truth. What manner of man is this? What manner of woman is this? That they open their mouth and say these things. That's how the prophets were, man. Bold, man. They ain't care once the Most High tell them what to say, they gonna say it. You see how they got burnt. They burnt their asses up right here. And they falling on their knees praying in front of him now. You know what I mean? Let's keep going. Uh-oh. The Messiah. Matthew chapter 8. I'm gonna start at 23. And when he entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. Messiah sleeping, man. Yahshua was sleeping. He ain't tripping. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he said unto them, why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea. You see that? And there was a great calm. He had command over the elements, man. You mean, what's $1 million to versus this? What's $1 billion versus this? You know, but a bunch of cars and all this stuff. If the universe and elements ain't gonna respect you in that day, man. Come on. Verse 27. But the men marvel, saying, what manner of man is this that even the winds and the seas obey him? What manner of man is this? You see, they came to a moment of clarity right here. They understood, like, all right, it hit them. Like, are we dealing with something different? You mean even the winds and the seas obey this man? Power. Come on, man. It's power, man. What manner of man is this, man? And that's what they say. That's what they say about these targeted individuals. Oh, you guys are weird and this, that, and the third. That's what they say. That's what they say to themselves when they look at you, man. What manner of woman is this? What manner of man is this? Let's keep going, man. So right here you got Elijah again, and it says right here and 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood to view afar off, and they two stood by Jordan. And Elijah took off his mantle and wrapped it together and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither, so that they too went over on dry ground. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, it looks something like this. You know what I mean? So Elijah getting his little Moses on. It wasn't no big sea or anything like that. It was like, it was a pond, or it was enough water, that they couldn't cross it. He smote it with his mantle. Once again, the elements are listening to him, man. Come on, man. Most I bestowed that, man, upon his servants. Oh man, ain't nothing gonna top that in the day, man. Most are gonna take care of us, man. Just keep going. Right here. I'm not even gonna read the story of Daniel. You already know the story of Daniel the lion's den. And I like this picture right here. You see? The lion showing reverence to him. They're not biting him. Because the Most High, commanded the universe, man. Hey, don't touch this. Don't touch him. What greater power is there than that, man? Look at that. He in there playing with the lions. And what happened to the guys that was lying on him when they got thrown in there? Them lions tore their ass up. They tore their asses up to pieces, man. Just showing you, man. This is power, man. Oh man. Let's look at Samson real quick. You mean? And Samson said, with the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with the jaw of an ass, I have slain 1,000 men. You see that? You mean? Right here, Samson was being pumped. You know, he was being, you know what I mean, prideful. I slayed 1,000 men. I did it. You know what I mean? He didn't give no reverence unto the Most High. You know what I mean? He didn't give no reverence unto the Most High. You mean I slayed 1,000 men? And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand, and called that place Ramathilai. I don't know if I said it right. And he was sore athirst, and called on the Lord, and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance into the hand of thy servants, and now I shall die for thirst, and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised. So you see right here, the Most High had to humble Samson. I mean, you boasting about you slay 1,000 men and all this stuff. I mean, and now you about to die of thirst. How you gonna get water? You know what I mean? But God clave an hollow place that was in the jaw, and there came out water thereout. And when he had drunk, the spirit came again, and he revived. You know, so you see, right there, you know, the Most High was able, you know, the elements, you know, of the water came into the jaw that whatchamacallit, the jawbone of the donkey, and he was able to drink, man. You know, and I just had to post this up here too, because like, even though these men had this power, you know, you still had to be humble, you know. And Samson got too pumped up right here, so the Most High had to humble him, like, hey, you're gonna die of thirst. And you see, he prayed and humbled himself, you know, because all glory goes back to the Most High at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You know? Yeah. So you see, what good is all that money? What's all that selling out? You mean, going to be worth in a day of, you know, in a day of great despair, in a day of great, you know what I mean, tribulation. You know, the scripture says that, you know, the gold and silver is going to be casted in the street. You know, so a nigga with $1 million ain't going to be worth a damn thing in that day. You know what I mean? But those that, you know, that the Most High deemed worthy, you know, for protection, is going to be that silver and gold in that day. You know? Yeah, man. The universe, man. The elements, the animals, the trees, the air, you know? Yeah. Wind, water, all that stuff, man. Earth, obeying you, man. You know, and I could even go into more in the lost books, you know, but I just wanted to keep it strictly on the Bible, you know. Yeah.